Okay, now the last one, fire. Firefighting, we can say, fire detection, we can say. But before you move on to fire, let's remember one thing. When we are doing services, every individual services, whether it's AC, thermal acoustics, firefighting, telecommunication, safety, security, by itself, it's like one book. So we can't just say by listening to one lecture or just going through few things you will be able to achieve or learn everything. It depends on you also how much we can. Apart from this, what I'm giving you, you can work more onto it. It's up to you. The more you do it, the more better you get into all this. So when I say fire, see, we all know what fire is, and little bit of it was taught to us in school. Starting like if there is a fire which is not needed or unwanted fire. See, when I say unwanted fire, it's like a hazard. Recently, if you must have heard in the news, there was this wildfire in Australia. So that is a kind of fire, but that is a fire which is way beyond what we are going to talk about. Yes, causes of fire we all know very well. Causes of fire can be overheating, heaters, fire, fireplaces. Like we don't have fireplaces in Bombay, but yes, fireplaces. Then if there are wires, now electrical wires, when I'm using electrical wires, if I'm using aluminum wire which has rubber insulation, obviously overheating will cause fire. So instead of those kind of wires, if I'm using PVC, fire retarding wire and copper conductors, it will be a much better way to prevent fire. Then heating, wherever heating is happening, wherever you're using a heaters and all. So instead of regular heaters, if I use solar heaters and all, so wherever it can be prevented and fires can be controlled rather than just using something which will catch fire and will go beyond, which is not, we will not be able to control it. So it can be prevented. There are ways to prevent fires. Then once we know how fire can be prevented, how can we prevent fire? We call it as a fire triangle. When I say fire triangle, there are three things in that triangle. One is oxygen, one is fuel, and the third one is heat. They say you remove one or you remove one part of the triangle, the fire can be taken care of. Which the best example, what was done with us in our school days, where we used to burn a small piece of paper and we inverted a glass. The paper burning inside the glass, the fire was dozed off, the fire went off. Moral of the story, you had cut out the supply of oxygen onto that paper which was burning. Another best example was that if a human catches fire, you don't pour water on him. You roll him on the floor or you put a blanket onto him. Again, in this also I am trying to cut off the oxygen. So this is what is called as fire triangle. You remove one and you can take care of the fire in a very large extent. We should also remember when we say there is fire which causes damage, yes, it causes damage. But other two things which also causes damage to us in these matters, one is heat, the other one is smoke. When I say smoke, if it goes beyond, again I'll give you the reference of the fire which happened at Lower Parel. People who mostly died because of suffocation. When they had inhaled that smoke, that is what killed them. So yes, after fire, what damages more is smoke. And the third thing is heat. So even after the fire, if the heat goes beyond a certain limit, it causes damage to both property and lives. For example, which again I would go back to my school days, and we had taken that small magnifying glass and concentrated the heat of the sun onto someone or to a matchstick. The matchstick started burning. What we learn from here is if I concentrate or if the heat goes beyond certain limit, you don't need to put a matchstick to it. It will start on fire by itself. So heat, smoke, then fire. So we know these three things. The fire triangle, how fires can be prevented, what are the causes of fire. Moving ahead, then how have I graded fire? Now I know that when a chemical burns, when a film burns, gives out toxic fumes. When acid catches fire, when petroleum catches fire, the fumes also are causing damage. But when a newspaper or just a paper which burns, it burns in a different way. When wood burns, it burns in a different way. Yes, when paints. So coming back to my interiors, when it catches fire, what all thing will burn and in what manner it is going to burn, and whether that fire is going to be retained in that room or will it travel to some other part of the room, and then it goes on traveling. So we have graded fire. A type, B type, C type. So way it's going to burn, the amount of time it's going to take and burn and cause damage. We have categorized the materials. That is the reason if I see a fire extinguisher, you will see A, B, C, it has been given on that. What type of a fire will be taken care by what kind of a fire extinguisher. So we have graded fire. There are some countries which have graded fire as per the height of the building. So if the building is of 50th floor and my fire ladder reaches till only 40th floor, the 10 floors any which ways will burn if I give it some or the other grade. So this is a norm which has to be followed, or if we can find out which country, I know it's going very far beyond, but then we should know everything before we start treating or before we get into these things. So we grade fire. Once I know fire, then everything related with fire has to be red in color, which has been standardized all over the world. Whether it's a fire engine, whether it's a fire extinguisher, whether it's a fire sprinkler system, alarm system, then the fire hydrants, everything has to be in red color and it has to be seen. Yes, it has to be seen. You cannot hide. There are designers who try and match the ceiling, the wall colors and all. They'll put some cabinet over it. Sorry, as per norm, this is not allowed. If you have a sprinkler system, the pipe has to be seen and it has to be red in color. If you are putting a fire extinguisher, it should be properly placed at an eye level. You cannot put it somewhere down below on a floor and hide it with a cabinet. No, it's against the law. You have to see these things so that in case of fire, a person should be able to reach it quickly and take care of the fire. So it should be seen. Moving on to the kind of construction. By now we know what fire is, how it reacts, how it moves on, how we can take care of it, how we can prevent it. And then when I was saying how it can be graded, a very simple way to understand this is, if a very normal bedroom catches fire, or where I am teaching, my classroom catches fire, what burns? The board onto what I am teaching, the dais on which I am standing and teaching, the chairs, because they are plastic, it's going to burn. That means the fire which has taken care there will only burn 20 to 25% of the things, because the walls are all cemented. It's brick walls, ceiling is solid concrete, flooring solid stone, window pane, yes, the glass will break, the tube lights will break, the fan blade will change shape. That's max what is going to happen. But then when I compare this fire to a fire which is there in a cinema hall, most of the thing which is there in a cinema hall will burn. The chairs will burn, the flooring, because it's carpet, it's going to burn, the walls which are all treated acoustic is going to burn, the ceiling is going to burn. That means the amount of fire and the amount of damage is much more than that one classroom to this cinema hall. Moving on from the cinema hall, if I go to a firecracker shop and if that catches fire, the firecracker shop by itself burns, also the shops around it are going to burn. And then if I look into a fire which is there at a petrol pump, the kind of damage that thing is going to cause. So I can't take care of a fire of that intensity with a bucket of water or a bucket of sand. That is the reason I need to grade my fire. I need to have different extinguishers or different ways of taking care of that fire. So step by step. Then before I move on to the extinguishers and all, why don't I use such materials which will not catch fire, or even if it catches fire, it delays fire. So if I have stone walls, if I have concrete walls, if I have brick walls which are plastered and all, it will not catch fire. Yes, if the heat goes beyond, the stones are going to crack, but then the damage is much minimum than if the house is made out of wood. Even if I am doing the house in wood, it can be delayed. The wood can be treated for it, which can take care of fire, and it will take much more time to burn, not the way it burns regularly. I can work with glass. So first, if we try, I can work with metals also. So if I try and use some materials which will either delay fire or which will not catch fire, which will be fire resisting materials, then after using the materials, I have worked on my fire escape routes, which is also compulsory nowadays. Fire escape route, fire escape staircase, fire escape passages. So there has to be a way to run out in case of fire, and that's the reason they say in case of fire, first you don't use the lift, second you don't use the regular staircase. So you must be seeing when you go to malls and multiplexes, there are one to more staircases area where people can run and go down. The kind of doors they don't have the regular handle and lock and key door. They have that push bar where you just push the door and you run out. Coming to that door, that is where we start with materials which we say as fire rated or fire retarding material doors. Fire rated, yes, we get materials in the market which are fire rated. They will ask you, how much time do you think, if there is in case of fire extinguishers can be used on it, or if the fire department will be able to come down and do the needful. They might say rough guess 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. That is a kind of things what we are getting nowadays in market. Fire rated material, fire retarding, that means after some time it's going to start burning. This is what we need to incorporate in our layout. The materials what you are using, which is this material, whether it's fireproof, whether it's fire resistance, whether it's fire resisting, fire rated. First is the materials. You'll have to make a chart and you'll have to say which kind of materials. If I'm not mistaken, again what I've seen nowadays is they inbuild these kind of chemicals inside a material. So if there is a fire by itself, the fire goes down. Please try and find out these kind of materials which are available in the market. Once I have used these things, then I come to two things. Firefighting. Either I do manually or I take the help of machines or mechanically. When I say manually, very simple, a bucket of water, a bucket of sand, fire hydrants, these are the things what I use manually, and then the fire extinguishers. Again, the company which gives you fire extinguisher, one of them is Zycom. You can log in on their website and find out the kind of fire extinguishers which is available, what can be operated manually, handheld, which you have all seen. Yes, they are sold in terms of kg. the kind of thing which is there, the chemical which is there, either it's a dry chemical powder, CO2, they have given you all these details. Find out what kind of a fire extinguisher is used for what kind of a material, how much area, what kg of fire extinguisher can be used. So if I am putting it into my layout, you will have to say my cabin is 80 square feet. The kind of thing which is there which will take fire, I will extinguish it with this kind of fire extinguisher which is of this kg. We will need it in that kind of a detail. Once you are done with the fire extinguisher, finally we come to the fire panel. When I say fire panel, again Zycom is one of the company which gives you the fire panel. It's a panel which will take care of when you're not there. That means it will detect a fire. That is where I use my smoke, heat and flame detector. Once the fire is detected, it's going to send a message to my panel, and at the same time fire extinguishers, those sprinklers what I see connected to my pipes, they will start. So my fire panel first will be connected to my detectors which are placed, which again we can go and see how much area one fire extinguisher or one smoke detector covers. You get it accordingly. After you placed your detectors and sprinklers, what more is connected to my fire panel? There is something which is called as a response indicator. Now, if the fire is above your false ceiling and if you are not able to see, there are these small panels which are fitted below your ceiling, and it has got a red LED which blinks in terms of fire. And the moment the fire is detected, the sprinkler start. Before there is an alarm. That is how it works. You see a fire, we set off an alarm. We get some help and then we try and extinguish that fire. So the first thing what works is the detector. The hooter, what I call, gives out a very loud sound in terms of alarm. The sprinkler starts. The response indicator is there. Then there is glass break sensor, glass break, or there is a manual call bell point in terms of, if you have seen those glass red button in there and a small hammer. These things are all attached to your fire panel which has zones. When I say zone, my first floor is one zone, my ground floor is the other zone. On the first floor, if I have classroom, so then classroom 1 is one detector which will have a LED onto that panel. Washroom is another LED. Kitchen pantry, another LED. That means if I am doing an office, reception is one LED onto that zone. Meeting room is one LED onto that zone. Conference room. So I can create zones. So on the fire panel, there is a light blinking. We'll come to know which floor, which cabin, which meeting room has come in contact with fire. With the alarm, even the message goes to the person who is responsible for that office, the admin person, on his cell phone. It will be message that there is fire at your place. That fire department at the same time will be informed. The police department, and yes, the person who has fitted that panel into your office. All these 3-4 people will be informed at the same time. And again I'll go back to telecommunication, networking. That is how they even know, because my fire panel is connected to all these via LAN, WAN and MAN. So there are 3 to 4 layouts what we need to make. First is how we make fire escape routes. How you guide a person, which is the nearest entry, which he has to follow, which I have seen those fire escape layouts where you stand and they say you are here. We show arrows, we show indication on the ceiling where we show that person running. We need that. If your office doesn't have a fire escape door, make one. Try to make a passage. That's your first layout. Second layout, We need all kinds of fire retarding and fire rated materials which can be used in our office. What kind of a fire rating it has, how much time it will delay the fire, that is needed in layout number 2. Layout number 3 will have all types of extinguishers, manual extinguisher, fire hydrants and all, where it's placed, where the hose is kept, how it's connected to your overhead tank, where you're getting the water. And mind you, when I say overhead tank, that is only meant for extinguishing fire. You cannot use that water for your domestic purposes. So all that into third layout. Fourth layout, fire panel. How you place, mostly it should be placed in the reception area where it should be monitored 24/7. So during the day the receptionist is there, after she leaves the security guard is there. So never try and put a fire panel in some remote area of our office. It should be there, seen visually, monitored. Then types of fire panels available in the market, very important. Addressable, non-addressable, proprietary, remote control. These are the kind of fire panels, so try and find out types of fire panels. How does a fire panel works? Basic, I've given you what all is attached to your fire panels. First, detector. Second, sprinkler. Third, hooter. Fourth, response indicator. Fifth, manual call bell point. All this connected to your fire panel. Fire panel will have zones. Then the fire panel is connected to the through LAN to the person who is responsible for your office, the fire department, the police department, and the person who has fixed that panel. So 4 layouts for fire. I know this is a lengthy chapter. Go step by step, see that you don't miss out any point. It's important how things starts. And again, I'll repeat, every time you do services, first you need to get into the detail what exactly it is. You can't just jump into a fire panel and start making layouts. Don't do that. It's not going to help you. First, try and find out what it is, how it behaves, how it spreads, how you can prevent it, what is the best way of doing interior so that there is, even if there is fire, it takes care it by itself. Then you move on to your manual fire extinguishers and then the mechanical mode of doing it. See that you go through this properly and systematically. And then once this is done, we'll try and revise what all layouts we have done and what all will be needed, which will be the next thing.